Welcome to Watch Symposium. I'm Austin. All right, I'm getting ready to switch out watches. I think I'm going to put the Orient in its box. It'll probably stay there for a few months. And I'm going to get out the Explorer too. And before I put the Orient away, I thought I would not give it a review, but just give you guys a closer look at it. I talk about this watch a lot and I mention it. So, if you're looking for a starter watch, if you're getting into mechanical watches, I would highly recommend this one. It's, it comes in at a good price, $170, and it's really not going to eat into your good watch fund too much. But it'll give you a taste of what it's like to own a dive watch and a mechanical watch. And like I said in another video, I mean, if you get this watch and you really like it, I think you'd love a Steel Sports Rolex, or an Omega. So let's take a look, starting with the clasp. All right, so it's got the Orient logo, which is kind of a nice touch. If it didn't have the Orient logo, I would think that was kind of shoddy and cheap. Now, it's got the flip lock, and then you depress these, which is kind of nice. Putting it on and off is kind of nice. You don't really have to depress these. You can just pop it down if you want, but taking it off is very easy. The inside of the, I believe these are called scissors. Kind of plain, nothing there. This is a little bit loose. Okay, this is a little bit loose. I'll try to show you guys. One of the biggest gripes I have about the clasp is this little lip right here. I don't know if you guys can see that, but that raises quite a ways up, and it's just something that you could catch something on, or I always fear catching one of my daughters in this, like their skin or something like that, or whacking them. And now it's kind of soft around here, so I don't think it's really dangerous, but yeah, I mean, if you have a young child, I don't know if I would want those corners. Again, it's not sharp, but kids will sometimes bump into you and stuff, and so that could catch them in a way, and kind of, I guess it could hurt their skin. So that's sort of a gripe on my part. I don't know why it doesn't lay flat. I think it could be the bend of my wrist, but anyway, that's one complaint I have of it. Another, I guess, would be the fact that these don't taper down. I think it's just cheaper to make these all the same. They don't have to make different sizes. They just make all of them. So of course it's a more economical way to do a bracelet. But I do like the tapered down look. I don't know if tapered bracelets feel better. I mean, this is a really comfortable bracelet, but I think that's just an indication of cost cutting, not having those different links. I mean, I think a lot of more inexpensive watches just have that straight band, unlike the tapering of, say, a Submariner. All right, hollow end links, and look at that. That's a real problem. I've never really abused this watch, and it's I guess it's been a couple years since I've had it, and I haven't worn it so much, but they've already really stretched out. Now, the GMT Master 2 that I have and the Submariner have hollow end links, and they are not nearly. In fact, they're fine. They're perfect. And you talk and hear about the rattlesnake of old hollow end link Rolexes. Well, can you guys hear that? That sounds to me like a rattlesnake, but it doesn't have the same kind of quality rattle that an old Rolex would. It more cheap kind of sound to it, more, I don't know, tinny. But that said, even though my Sub and my GMT Master 2 have hollow end links, they really don't rattle. I mean, in theory, I just have to say that there's not a whole lot of difference when the watches are on the wrist. My Explorer 2 has solid end links, and so if you're if you're looking at a Rolex and it's got solid end links, that's of course a better option. But if you're looking at one and you really like it, but it's got the hollow end links, I really don't think it's going to be an issue. I mean, the metal must be stronger. That's, I mean, that my Rolexes, even though they're, you know, over a decade old, you know, they're flush and they're tight, and there's not a lot of rattle. So, I've got on a tangent there, but still. All right, let's take it off and we'll look at the bezel. Now, the pip glows. In fact, the lume is one of the best things about this watch. I mean, the 12, the 6, the 9, of course, all the indices and the sword hands glow. So it's a fantastic, you know, glowing watch, and it does light up like a lighthouse. The bezel, 60 click bezel, which, yeah, I don't mind that at all. Because I'm sort of OCD about, you know, I like it to be right on the markers, and so you don't really have to worry about that half points. But I guess if, you know, if you're trying to time something and, you know, and the minute hand isn't quite on the marker, you know, it might be kind of nice to have a 120 click bezel just to get it right in the middle there. Now this isn't quite popped in. There it is. There's no rollback. It is a bit tight. If your hands were wet, you'd never be able to turn this. If you were in the ocean, you'd be you wouldn't be able to turn this. And also, this is really kind of rounded up here. I think if it was a little sharper, then I would prefer it. It would be a little easier to turn. But at the same time, it's there are not a lot of sharp edges on this watch, so it's kind of safe around kids. So if it was just a degree sharper around here, so you could turn it a little more easily, I think I'd prefer it. But it's not too bad. The same goes for the crown. I wish it was a little bit more, you know, coin edge. This is a little soft. In fact, my fingers are a little sweaty now. Let's see if I can. Yeah, it's a little hard. I can't even kind of really get it. If I stick my fingernail down in there, I can get it going. I can undo it. You know, it screw down crown, of course. On the side, you've got the Orient logo. And let's just sort of play with it a bit. Now, non-hacking movement. So you can, you know, you can go and set it, but it's not going to hack. So you can't get it precise. Which, you know, for a watch this price, I guess you can't complain about it. It would be a nice feature. It would be a complaint, but it's never really bothered me that much. I tell you what I do really like about it. If you're trying to line up, you can always sort of hack it by going in the opposite direction sometimes. But have you ever tried to line up your minute hand right to the minute marker, and then you pop it down, and it sort of jumps a little bit? Rolexes are terrible about that. But look at this. Watch this. Okay, it didn't move at all. So you can really precisely set it. You just wait till the second hand gets to the top, and then, you know, make sure that you have it perfectly aligned, and then when it hits the top, and it doesn't move at all. That's a great feature. So let's take a look at it. I like the sword hands. Okay, I think they look really, really nice. I'm kind of glad that they didn't copy the Mercedes hand. Yeah, the sword hands look better, and it's just, I think it looks nice. And I love the little red on the second hand. You go around, let's see, it's got obviously a day and a date, and I like the division between the day and the date. It's kind of nice that they have that, you know, separate windows. But let's advance forward and I'll show you what happens. Okay, so the day starts to turn around 11 o'clock. So from 11 o'clock, and then it kind of pops in right before 12. So obviously if you're talking about something like a Explorer 2 or GMT, it gets to right at 12 midnight and then it just clicks over, which is more favorable, but you can't, that's why that watch is more expensive. One of the reasons at least. Keep going, and around, I want to say, yeah, just before 1 o'clock, the day starts to turn, and it turns to French, okay? And then, so if you're looking at this at, 1 in the morning, you'd be kind of screwed, right? If you wanted to needed to know the day, which, yeah, I guess it could happen. And then by 3 o'clock, you're okay, right? So there are two languages, and we'll look at that in a minute. Okay, and then let's see, if you pull it out one click, hold on, there you go. If you one click, 2 clicks out, you can set the time, and then one click, and you can set the and set the date. Now it doesn't reverse, so you just have to do it like that. All right, let's. Now it doesn't catch as well as like a really high quality watch. In fact, I know it looks like I'm shaking a lot. I probably am shaking a lot, but okay, so yeah, that's not catching really too well. Okay, there, I got it. So once it catches, it's fine, but it's not smooth like really high quality watch. All right, so what is this little thing for? Now, by the way, I kind of like the aesthetic of that up there. If it didn't have that, it would look kind of plain, but it just kind of gives it something. This actually does the day. Okay, you unscrew it, and then you can do, that would be French, and then all the days. Which, if you think about it, if you use this watch regularly, you don't really. Once you set the day, you're okay, right? So I think maybe if they had made this the date, it would make a little bit more sense, because on, say, a month with 28 days, say February, you would, pop this 2 times or, 3 times, and you could advance it in March, on like March 1st, right? But I guess if you went too far, you would have to press it 30 times, which wouldn't really be a big deal. But yeah, so I probably would have made that the date. Yeah, because once the day is, once you got the day set, if you continue to use this, you're not going to have to ever set the day. All right, so one thing that I really like about it is the dial. It's really clean. I like the 1269. I believe this is what you would call this maybe a sunburst. I love the blue, love the color. I think the dial is probably the best part of this watch in the color. It's not a complete copy of a sub. It's not black. It's got that nice blue. It's not. You don't have the round indices. You got the 12, the 6, the 9, which is kind of Explorer 1-ish. And, you don't have that Mercedes hand. The sword hands are kind of nice. I really do like the sword hands on this. The red tip of the second hand is another thing I really like about it. So, as far as the aesthetics of the dial, I really like it a lot. It's 200 meters water resistant. Yeah, any gripes about it? Yeah, the lack of hacking, that's kind of that's kind of too bad. But again, when you get ready to get a good watch, if you're used to that, then once you get the good watch, it'll be awesome. Although if you're like me and you get a no date sub, then you're going to miss those that information right there, those complications of the day and the date. Anyway, it's a great starter watch. It's a great beater watch. I wouldn't call it a shiter. It's inexpensive. It's humble. It doesn't try to be any more than it is. It's the movement is by Orient. They make it. So yeah, it's worth looking at if you're just getting the watches. And I can't say that I regret getting it. So it served me well. All right, take care. Thanks for watching. See you next time.